Hello everybody and welcome. I am the Beta Plan and this is our second installment of Let's Play CK2 at a faster pace. All joking aside, this is the last normal, so to speak, video about our Trials of Trebizond campaign, because after this video it will be the last one. So sad. In fact, for more reasons than one, but that is something you will see in that video. And this video is going to span the life of Emperor Andreas. And as you already noticed at the start, and as I hinted at in the last video, this one is going a lot slower. It does seem to be moving faster, and if you think that, and that is indeed true, but it's only at a time sped about 2.5 times faster instead of times 7. Which already gives away that Emperor Andreas does not live as long as his father. He was not gifted such a long lifespan. And here I already make the first interesting move with Emperor Andreas. He is quite keen on getting a good heir, and thus he shares the bed with one of his German duchesses. Who is, by the way, in true control of the title, not just a duchess by marriage, but a duchess truly by title. So, having inherited his father's wars, Andreas has to continue on with the Solanki, the war that we have started against the Solanki and against the Seljuk. Because, well, actually you start against the Seljuk because, well, our truce timer has ended, considering we are a new emperor. So that is what he's going to focus on. He's going to gamble a little bit on the blues and lose this time because the blues lost of the greens. But there it is. There we have a little bit more of Turkestan as we pressure the Seljuk now also from their northern territories. We've been constantly attacking them in the west, but well, almost constantly. We had taken a little bit of territory before from them from the north, but now we are taking them from the north as well. This emperor will enclose them from all sides, as we are looking for another Gavras to possibly rule this territory, as I had hoped, kinda, or in the end I can't remember, to be honest, give the kingdom of Turkestan to, well, a Gavras, because I thought that would be the ultimate insult to the Turkish Seljuk if I would control the kingdom of Turkestan. Yeah, vindictive a little bit, though I'm not really sure why, because the Seljuk never really hurt us a lot once we became the Roman Emperor. Now during Trebizond, the Seljuk and his vassals certainly were pain in the arse, as well as Rum itself, which then still existed as a Sunni realm. But for us now, we have managed to pay that one slide back in the beginning when we had Azerbaijan and Kartli and things were going back and forth regarding wars. We have paid them back to them more than tenfold, more than 100-fold, I reckon. But yeah, a slide that the Gavras family never forgot. And here we also, as you can see, well, participate in a little bit of skullduggery as we approve a plan to assassinate somebody. Yeah, Andras certainly is not as holy as his father. But oh well, what can you do, right? Yeah, that is just a random death, and I'm not really sure why that is. Oh, that is because of this rebellion, right? We had a little rebellion happening also that he had to take care of. And there is a daughter born from my liaison with the Duchess, but unfortunately she's a sickly girl, so Andreas, I think, does acknowledge her existence. Yeah, he does acknowledge her existence, but doesn't truly make her a Gavras, because not really needed. And there is the surrender of the Solanki, giving us a quite long stretch border with the Solanki. Definitely going to get ourselves some border friction with them later on. And here I check up once again on the Turkish band as I see them waging war and wondering if they are alright. Never been able to establish that alliance, even if the current one or the one before it actually had a daughter, but they didn't want to marry, which was kind of weird because they were Orthodox as well, but they were not. They didn't want to marry into the greatest Orthodox empire there ever was, at least in all gameplays. But yeah, that kind of felt weird, but therefore I could never establish a true Turkish band alliance. As I hear, I'm giving away a few titles and making sure that we have some dukes. And here we have a close relative of mine that I am still looking into giving Persia, which I have done ever since I was, well, I call him Raphael the Holy. His father, although it's not with an A, it's with an I, and I don't know if that is still pronounced the same, but I assume those names are rather the same. But yeah, he already wanted to get Persia, but I couldn't really get that done because, well, issues. And here we starting to get parts of Hispania to be added to the Roman Empire, or old province of Hispania, once again considered the jure part of the Roman Empire, which of course is excellent. Now, not everything has been yet considered to be part of us, but first steps, baby steps you start with, and in the end you might grow from a one province to a Europe spanning Roman Empire. So let's not hasten the process any more than is necessary. Besides, if we go into year 4, all of that doesn't matter anymore, because all of a sudden everything is accepted as being part of you, except then you have to deal with cultures being around, and then some countries are the de facto country of a certain culture, and thus no matter how long the jure it is part of you, they can step out because they have a different culture. EU4 is a whole different beast and has its own perks and its own disadvantages, in my opinion. I really don't prefer one game over the other regarding mechanics-wise, so to speak. I personally prefer Crusader Kings 2, as I'm sure many of you could have guessed, more than EU4, simply for following a dynasty. And there is somewhat of a following of a dynasty in EU4, but it's just on such a low level. EU4 looks more on the country level instead of on the family level, and I think that is the thing that is awesome. And here I have found out that for some reason France has been destroyed. The title is totally gone, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Which is why I'm going to look, I believe, momentarily into the history, but, or have I already done that? Sorry if I've missed doing that, but here we regain the France title, making sure that we do not have too many vassals to rule over, because currently we already are suffering from that issue a little bit. I simply hope to improve our situation once we can get Persia away from the Seljuk. I also have gone for family focus here because I do like to get additional children. I do like to get ourselves perhaps a genius child, because we have married genius ladies, and here somebody's trying to convince me to go into another faith, and we're not going to do that at the last minute. Oh no, absolutely not. So that is done, and here you can see that the Solanki actually have pushed into the Seljuk as well, cutting them off into 3 different sections. Well, I know I'm gonna break a truce here, and that's not yet the thing for this emperor, but that just makes me say, okay, you know what, I am going to solve all this issue, take the northern parts, and take the Solanki down, and make sure that we have beautiful borders, which, as I have said many times before, shall not stand for any border gore. So, following the tradition of his grandfather, Emperor Andreas here is gonna go and beat up some Seljuk. As you may notice now, instead in comparison to perhaps the last video, although I can imagine it was somewhat harder to follow the last video, considering its incredible speed, I've actually am starting to call up more units than I have done so before, because I feel it is quite necessary. And I am also attacking the Seljuk, by the way, in the north for one particular reason. As you may notice, there's some stripy stripe down in the south of the Seljuk, and that is my vassal, the king of Daljam, if I pronounce that correctly, which I probably don't. attacking the Seljuk also for territory, and I don't want to be in his way. So hence I am simply saying, okay, I will take parts of the north if you take parts of the south, and then together we can create one beautiful empire. Though of course our empire was always beautiful. But yeah, that's also why I'm helping here with sieging, and boom, there his war suddenly ends. He takes this county, but for some reason this is still, that city is still considered to be occupied by him, which is really weird, which is why I'm checking these wars. But yeah, the city that we captured with him, but he had occupation over, is still occupied by him, despite not being of him, and despite me being the one in the war. And here I get actually caught out, and one of my armies gets a little banged in the head, shall we say. Regardless, we are able to re-establish our forces. Besides, we are huge. I mean, we can summon forces from everywhere, and we are also stable. We are not just huge, we're stable. There hasn't been a revolt against the Gavras family rule. I think with the exception of one in the very beginning, we have had no issues with that at all. And although our council may sometimes not be entirely appreciative of what we do, you can see that currently the council is not discontent. We have an extremely stable realm, so losing a few units here and there doesn't really matter. Besides, as you saw, I called up most of these units, so most of them are also vassal levies, so doesn't really destroy my personal count of troops. So we are rather safe, and they are trying to do siege, as we now get aided by Trebizond, who's going for their own little war and thus aiding us in our endeavors to take but a single duchy, and I think that is simply the lower holdings. Oh, there I have to deal with a rebellion, and there we have a son born purple even. It's been a while, though I think... Actually, was my father not... perhaps Raphael was also born in purple. We did have it recently as well. But born in purple, safeguarding the succession even more. The first son born to Emperor Andreas was given, well, a bishopric to rule over by his grandfather. So also he has been eliminated from succession possibilities. And there we go, another bastard child that I will say is mine, but that I won't make it through Gavras. Or I did with this one, I'm not even sure anymore. Oh, sorry, spiked the mic there, my mistake. Also, for anyone who's wondering, wanted to ask, like, hey, your voice sounds so much better in this video and the last one, how is that possible? Well, actually, I'm running currently Audacity to record my voice outside of using Movavi, which is my video editing program, next to one another. However, I've noticed that if I do this both during recording, it's a hell of a work to put them together, and I just don't have that time. Because I first have to click on record on this, that has to go right, then I have to click on OBS, and I'm starting to record. Then I can start recording, and then I have to put them together. And unfortunately, I lack the time to do this, but if I'm doing post-editing, that is why my voice may sound clearer, and hopefully that is at least a plus to this video, because personally, I would have preferred to show all of this, but Holy Fury comes out and I want to play Holy Fury, and you want to see Holy Fury. So yeah, we have to finish this series, and we have to finish in 1444 if we want to port it into EU4. Once again, look out for the next video on how all that. There are some issues there. But yeah, this is one of the first times that I'm really feeling the pressure. As you can see, they're sieging several territories of mine, and the Seljuk this time are kind of stubborn, just not wanting to surrender. So part of it is also because I really want to weaken the duchy on the left here. That is on the Caspian Sea, but here we've also... There we take it, and Persia. Persia is now part of our realm, eliminating most of the issues with vassal limit in there, and has been completely removed. As the Seljuk now also changed back to their green color, and we have encapsulated all of the Aral Sea. So now it is just the Caspian Sea in order to have a nice continuous water and perhaps taking down that little bit of Solanki territory that they took from the Seljuk. And we should be all golden. Just looking at a little bit of upgrades here of technology, which is we are masters still of technology. I'm not sure if I look at that in this video, or if I only do that in the next one, but yeah, we are the masters of technology. No one in the world can come close to us. Not too surprising, after all, we are the world. Yeah. I sound like an egocentric bastard, and I am sounding like an egocentric bastard, but on the other hand, this time it's rather factual. Anyways, time to tell this young little lady who just recently inherited the Solanki Empire that, hey, that territory that your daddy conquered, yeah, well, that's ours. Now, we are going to make sure that you do not have power over the Seljuk, because if in EU4 I would let this situation go on, the Seljuk would have to walk through the Solanki, which means the Solanki would instantly have power over them, and of course we won't allow that to happen. We are the ones that will always have the power over the Seljuk. Heck, we're taking away all their original territory. And there we have a quick girl, and I'm checking here my wife, as you can see, on char info, because apparently she got pregnant, but I was away, so I'm checking if that is truly my child, the one that's coming up next, not the one that I just gained with the Duchess, and apparently I am the father. Surprise, surprise, I did not realize that, but I do know from several of my watchers that they really are keen, like me, to know how the family line is and how the tree is going on. I can remember even stories where I had to foster my own grandchild, so to speak, in order to make sure that our family line was truly of our family blood, even if everybody thought it was also going to go for the first son, but we knew via looking with chart info that actually wasn't from our bloodline. That is something, of course, that's also going to come with Holy Fury bloodlines, which I am rather keen on. I wonder how that is inherited if it is a bastard. If you are going to get the family dynasty, but if perhaps the bloodline is not given to you, because that would be awesome, because it would kind of show like, yeah, he is of your family, but somehow he lacks the skills that come with the bloodline. I kind of hope they've done that. I don't know yet. I'm recording this before I go into Holy Fury, which I also will record today. So yes, I'm working my ass off in order to make sure that you get all your CK2 videos and all your entertainment, and still trying to keep up with the new and improved Holy Fury, of course, which is going to come out. Actually, which, when you see this video, is already come out, the new Attila's legacy with the Dulo family and going for the Slavic religion. Yeah, and is then all out already. So, hope you're enjoying that series as well, but also hope you enjoy my efforts to finish this series in a proper manner and not like dump it and say, oh, well, F this. Because that's not really my style. And there another daughter born in purple, as we unfortunately do not capture the Seljuk king himself. We do capture one of his dukes. We release him despite the fact that it would be kind of like the duke that we kind of want to capture, because it is his terrain, I believe, we are going for. Yeah, capturing more men. I don't know what's going on here, but all of a sudden we are doing something. Oh, and I point there to that he is Greek but Catholic? Was that what I was pointing at? Sorry, I kind of missed it myself now. Regardless, as interesting as it might have been of what I just pointed out, I don't know. But right now I'm more interested in the fact that the Solanki army is over here after our war with them and is now trying to hurt me. Luckily I had some backup nearby. And luckily, of course, the Duchy that we're now going for, we had recently already destroyed much of their walls and territory, so we feel like we can take that on. We can immediately attack that and it will be fine. But yeah, as I said already during Raphael the Holy's reign, Solanki will start to be more and more active about their participation in the defensive pact against the Roman Empire, and there my wife is pregnant again. And once again, I have to check this out, and I'm still the true father. Surprise, surprise, because I don't realize that. But then I see that actually we are lovers. So actually, surprise, surprise, that is kind of logical. And I didn't even know we were lovers, but that must have triggered thanks to my family focus. Because I'm sure we didn't start out as lovers. But yeah, here we have completed our goal. The Caspian Sea is entirely encapsulated now by the Roman Empire, meaning that I can walk around it and not have to go all around the Caspian Sea itself through the Caucasus instead of going down the eastern area in order to safeguard our entire empire. And look at it, so much purple, it looks beautiful, doesn't it? And the duchy I'm now considering to go for is Merv, but it's more because I don't like that little point sticking into us. But on the other hand, I don't need the entire duchy because it goes rather far. And yes, despite the fact that I've used char info, of course I'm going to pay all the spies to find out if it is truly my child. After all, we shouldn't know, so I'm playing like I don't know. But I'm more interested in the story, and therefore I actually use that cheat a little bit just to look at that. If I truly cheat in the game, I will let you know, as I have shown twice during this gameplay. But there, voila, the Roman Empire's de jure territory is all around the Midland Sea. We lack Mauritania and we lack Francia and Britannia over here, but they are about to become de jure incorporated as well. And Mauritania over here is not too far away as well, but it's going to be probably too long, and everything else I check here is unfortunately a little too long. But considering how much of this territory is now considered de jure part of us, I feel like we have done well, because most of that was indeed de jure part of the Roman Empire. And here, look at that Orthodoxism spreading beautifully towards the east. Yeah, and all our vassal limit works out fine. Supporting the blues again, this time winning. Woo! And just checking Solanki and noticing that they have actually regained the kingdom that was to their east. So we have some huge empires in this gameplay. Here the king of Rum dies, but I distribute the title back to him. So don't redistribute it. English is a hard language, okay? Don't. I give him back his title as a vice royalty so that he's happier with me. That is what happened. Point. So here I'm giving out a few titles simply to get rid of the notification, I think, and just to make sure that everybody is happy with their emperor, because I just really want them to be the ruler. And I actually check even if I can make this child of mine, who is rather smart, to see if I can make her inherit. But all that it does is that it makes her act as she is born in purple, but she's already born in purple, so I can't push my quick child forward. I believe she's quick in front of her brother because he was born first. We do have ultimate agnetic, so if she would have been born first before her brother, she would have inherited, but I can't cheat her in front of it by calling her the despot. Unfortunately, we tried to get the perfect heir, but I have to say I'm quite pleased as it is already. So we gotta roll with the pedals that we have, as we say over here. And here I'm trying to get his daughter desperately to marry a family member of mine to get an alliance. I pay her a favor and then I ask her to come to court, but then it's not allowed because she's close relative of the current ruler of the Turkish band, which annoys the heck out of me. And here I look for my daughter, if I can find a good marriage for her. First I'm considering the Turkish band, but I can't get that done. And then I'm thinking, oh, F it, I will try and find a matrilineal marriage for her and keep the Gavros line in effect. But yeah, there's once again the attempt of mine to try and secure that alliance with the Turkish band, but I can't get it done, and there I just give up on having a right match for my daughter. And there you go. I think you can see in the northern part, Trebizond attacking actually the Mongol Empire for one of their duchies. So expanding our borders further. And here I realize, oh shoot, I never actually joined the community of St. Basil. Well, that is unfortunate, because I kind of was looking here if I could perhaps convert something, but there you go, converting the countries then not through devotion, but through our religious counselor. So, go you! And here I actually even am so sneaky to simply say, oh, you've done a good job, so now you're fired, and then somebody else can take your role so that I don't have to wait forever. At least I had considered it, or don't I do that here? I don't seem to do that. I remember considering that, but apparently this time around I'm okay with keeping him. Yeah, I'm keeping a close watch on when he's ready. So this time I actually don't fire him. Possibly his candidates didn't have enough learning that it was considered prudent by me to actually go down that route, and there we switch him out. But yeah, looking at the Arabian Peninsula, it is already quite orthodox, even though our conquests are quite recent. And you can see here, I kind of pushed up to these mountains and let them act as our new border. And by the way, if you now listen like, hey, I hear combat sounds, how is that possible? It's because the sounds were not compiled, so it's slightly different, and you kind of hear the battles that are taking place earlier. Although here I am going to battle. Actually, I am going to battle for this duchy instead of my vassal. I thought my vassal did that, but oh no, I remember that's for Gucci a little off screen that happens. But yeah, I take a last push towards those mountains that are near Gucci, and trying to teach also the Mongol Empire, as we have attacked Seljuk enough now, Solanki well enough. Now it is time to attack another guy, and yes, they might be able to come to his rescue, but that won't be in time even if they do. So Kyrgyz is something that I have set my sights on as well, and well, we hadn't really personally attacked the Mongol Empire proper, so now we can also say that we defeated the Mongol Empire. Woo! And yeah, I believe actually in this war we also attack. Oh, there, my wife's pregnant again, checking again, and I'm still the known father. Wow. My wife is apparently way more loyal than my paranoid self might believe, considering I've been cheating on her for forever. Anyways, yeah. Waiting just for the war score to tick by a little bit here. I mean, I have beaten up on everything. I have the entire duchy, checking if he is willing to surrender. He is not. He's being a wee little bit stubborn about it, but I don't really care. They were pushing in the forces now as they are getting their allies to come over here, and as I'm trying to find some nice generals to safeguard us against the oncoming onslaught, as I find out, hey, holy heck, wait a second, this Gavras is for some reason Sunni. We can't allow for that, so we are working on that as well. This is for Arabia, where she has helped us out a little bit, and there is another army in this war that has gone past the border and has checked for things here. Some marriages that are going through, which I'm not really into. Don't really care. There's a little revolt, but that revolt is way too small to even matter. So also that doesn't really have much of my attention, to be honest. Still checking if we can finish this war. And there is yet another daughter of mine. Perfect. As I get a little bit ill here, I'm like, oh, that's fine. I mean, I know our family line has had the best of health, but we'll survive that. And here, ooh, I almost move away and do not get my reward, Kyrgyz, which we do manage to get over here, pushing the Mongol Empire even further back. And I do think that this border, I really would like to get it to the mountains to have a natural border. And Gucci, and to be honest, that is part of a realm that is also called Gucci, which is a kingdom in the Nepalese territories, or vicinity, I should say, because it's not the Nepali that rule Gucci. But yeah, here, giving her some more terrain, making sure that I don't have too high vassal limit, and that considering the time limit, I don't care anymore, and that is just in time as I die and I become a 5-year-old emperor. So basically the game also said, okay, you had your fun. It's time to end this. You can look for a wife, And that right ends. So I see you in our farewell video. In the meantime, I say I thank you for watching, and remember, great peril yields great beauty.